Today on Gardening with Creekside, we are getting the last of the patio beds planted. Stay tuned. Hello friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. I am Jenny and here we are on the pathway to the patio, and you will see behind me that we have gotten the final bed, the final sun bed planted here that is surrounding the patio. This is the bed that really kind of connects from the archway with the roses and brings us around to the driveway. So you will see this bed from the driveway. It kind of piques your interest and says, hey, there might be a really neat garden back there. Let's go check it out. So Jerry and I planted this last night. We had actually finished filming another video where we were fixing the irrigation, and we said, well, you know what, let's just go ahead and start planting this bed. Let's see how far we get before the sun goes completely down. And so we threw up a camera so that y'all could see what we were doing. But yeah, we got it planted and it was dark. Everybody was planted, and then today it got mulched. So we're just going to walk through and kind of give you an overview of the area and show you the plants that are in this space. Everything that is in here is either a shrub or it is a perennial. So this space will give us years of enjoyment with not going to have to replant a whole lot, hopefully, and that everything will give us 4 seasons of interest in this space. So let's just walk through and talk about what we did. Now, you'll notice right here along the edge of the bed, there are some low-lying perennials right here. This is the creeping phlox from Proven Winners. These are the rose quartz and the ruby riot, I believe. We'll put those names up there for you. Obviously, the creeping phlox is going to be one of the earliest bloomers in the springtime. They were positively stunning this spring. These are ones that Proven Winners had sent us as trials at the end of last summer. They sat in their containers all winter long, completely neglected by me, and then come this spring, like I said, they were glorious and full of blooms, absolutely stunning. So I can imagine in the early spring next year that this whole little pathway will just be nothing but blooms. And they really do hold their blooms for quite a long time for these perennials. So I will have weeks and weeks and weeks worth of enjoyment. Other than that, I'll have a nice low-lying evergreen border right here on the bed. So it starts at the beginning of the bed, and it works out that it goes all the way up to the arch with the climbing roses. So there's a total of 10 of these in here. And then as we make our way along, the star of the show is in the back. This is Gatsby Gal, and Gatsby Gal is a fantastic oak leaf hydrangea that really does well in those sun environments. She will get to be about 5 to 6 feet tall and wide, so she will really just give a nice big presence to this bed, look really nice. Of course, you can see already she's got those nice big massive blooms on her, those really pretty oak leaf leaves on them. The flowers, of course, will mature from that white to like a nice pink, red, mauvey kind of color in the fall. The leaves, of course, will take on fall color, and you can see that we've got lots of new growth in the center of the plant. This was a 3-gallon plant and is doing really well. Now, the thing is with oak leaves, remember that you don't want to prune them. They do not respond really well to being pruned. So I wanted to make sure to give her plenty of room, her 5 to 6 feet in total width, that she can grow and that I will not have to prune. Again, you're coming down the driveway and you're going to see this gorgeous hydrangea, and on each side of the hydrangea is flanked with an Apache Rose perennial grass. The Apache Roses are just beautiful grasses just kind of wispy, of course, as all perennial grasses are. Apache Rose is going to get taller than it is wide. So it'll have kind of that columnar feel to it. Of course, with grasses, they, you know, like right now, the wind is blowing, we have a little breeze, and it brings movement to the bed. In the fall, late summer, early fall, Apache Rose will put on the pink plumes, have that pinkish hue to them. So it'll pair beautifully with the Gatsby Gal in those fall autumnal colors and just be gorgeous. Now, with the Apache Rose, what you're going to want to do is late winter, you're going to cut it all the way back to the ground because you want all the new growth to come out without any of the old dead growth that was the previous year's growth. So this is all new growth from this year that you can see. These were actually 3-gallon grasses, so nice and big. They're going to bring an instant presence to this bed. So we've got those. Now, on each side of the Apache Roses, we have 2 Baptises, and this is Blueberry Sunday, I believe, or Blue Bubbly. Oh, lousy, y'all. We're going to put it up on the screen exactly what it is. It is late in the afternoon, and honestly, Jenny's brain just went dead. Baptises. Why do we love Baptises? Baptises are fantastic because, one, extremely low maintenance perennial. Again, they're going to get nice and some height here. So what we did is I worked with my Gatsby Gal, is going to be my tallest, my Apache Rose is next, and then my Baptises. So we have kind of that tiered effect in the bed. Regardless of the name, I do know that they are a beautiful blue bloom. So Baptises can come in a whole vast array of colors. This is a gorgeous blue. Again, I like having all those different colors, some pinks, some whites, some creams, some blue in here. Gorgeous. So they send out these gorgeous huge spikes of blue blooms. Just really great plants. Again, this is going to be a spring bloomer, and then for the rest of the season we'll have its great form and function here again because it gets more narrow at the top and then it'll kind of vase out. So Baptises are fantastic. So we have that, and then next we have 3 Scentlandias. So we have 1, 2, 3. Now Scentlandias are a wonderful perennial shrub. That's kind of redundant, I suppose, shrub that they've just finished their spring blooms. So Scentlandia got its name because it has such a sweet smell to its blooms. Also, we hit some high temperatures. They were nice and well watered, but of course the high temperatures kind of shorten the lifespan of the blooms sometimes. But these Scentlandias are great. This whole thing was just these nice little white, delicate white blooms. So you had these arches of white blooms all over the plant. Again, Scentlandia is going to give us beautiful fall color because the plant will take on those reddish orange hues to it. So you've got spring interest, summer interest, and then of course fall interest. So this will be just a beautiful space. If I want to, of course, I do have pockets that I can come back in and add. If I wanted to add annuals, I could. I don't think I'm going to this year. I want to see how the bed develops. I've got annuals in other areas, so this will be a great spot for these guys. Of course, this is lots of sun right now. It's about 6 o'clock in the evening, 6:30, and it's finally in the shade. It has been in the sun from the sun up until about now, and so this is really a full sun bed, even though right now it is in the shade. So how did we plant this? We this is that lovely same soil that I dealt with when I was planting the bed right behind me, and it was quite an ordeal, but this time I had my secret weapon with me. I had Jerry, so he was the one that got to do all the grunt work this time, plus we had gotten some rain in the last couple of days, so it was a little bit better. He did, again, we know, as we all know, that water line runs right up through here, and it was under the Baptisa or the grass was one of the plants that the water line ran right underneath, but he was hand digging that, so he found it and did not nick the water pipe, so all was well. So we auged it both with the Bobcat and with the handheld auger. That just makes life so much easier, and it really kind of aerates and tills the soil, so it makes it nice and loose, which is great when you have clay soil. Everybody, of course, got biotone. Biotone is such a great, important thing to help those roots get a great start. So that, remember, biotone is the fertilizer for your roots. So they got that. Then each one either got plant tone, which would be the Scentlandias, the phlox, the Baptises, and the grasses all got plant tone, and then the hydrangea got rose tone. We've talked about this before. Hydrangeas and roses have the same nutritional needs, and so rose tone is a great fertilizer for your hydrangeas. So they got that. And then because the soil here is really just lacking in any kind of compost or, anything other than just dry red clay, we did go ahead and add some land and sea. So we mixed it in, we top dressed the bed, we mixed it in with the hole as we planted those plants. So over time, of course, this mulch will break down, turn into compost. There were no earthworms at all when we were digging in here. So over time, those earthworms will come, get nice, great, healthy, living soil in here. It's gonna take a little bit of time, but that's all right, we're committed to it. Now, one that I have been waiting on for quite a while is I got the 2 David Austins planted. These are the Generous Gardener. They are climbing roses, obviously. They will climb up the arch and then meet at the top. So the Generous Gardener is a very beautiful, light, very light pink, almost a creamy white with some pink in it. To me, it has the classic old rose smell. You think of a rose, this is the smell of it. It is just fantastic. I've had some bug damage to them, but we have that under control. So, and there's a honeybee, sweet little honeybee. She's looking at the roses right now. So again, this is our first year growing roses. All of a sudden, I was starting to see some holes. I flipped it over, and sure enough, there were some little caterpillar larvae on there. But we have taken care of those. That was in the inside. The new leaves, of course, are nice and beautiful. But these are going to be full sun, of course, will grow up. I do need to kind of use some twine to attach them to this arch so that they will go up. But I can't wait just to see how they go from year to year and grow. It'll be interesting to see how long it takes them to cover. They're pretty fast growers. So again, we started these as bare roots. They came in, gosh, I think it was the end of April that they came. Yeah, it would have been the end of April that I got them. Big, huge, healthy root systems. So I'm looking to add some more David Austins to our flower beds as the season progresses, as the years progress rather. It's going to be a lot of fun. So again, thank you so much for gardening with Creekside. I hope you have found this inspirational. It is all starting to come together. Of course, we will be back here and give you lots of updates to show you how everything is growing and progressing and really filling in. The next area as far as planting beds that we have to go to will be this bed right here. We still have, again, still a hot mess, still have some plants in containers over here, still have some construction debris over here. But this bed will be a lot of fun to tackle, and I'm just really looking forward to that. So that will be the next big landscaping project here at the patio. But as always, thank you so much for gardening with Creekside. Y'all have a fantastic day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.